I had a student, a woman from England. Her father was an Anglican priest, and her mother was a Jewish woman from Egypt. She wrote a book. You should read it. Playing with Fire. Yeah. So the story is like this. She grew up in the church, and her father was a big, charismatic evangelist, and he held these meetings, and thousands of people would come, and he would inspire them, and she grew up following in his footsteps. Anyway, to make a long story short, she comes to Beis Chana in Minnesota, and I have to be mekarev her. Part of her story is that all her life, growing up as a Christian in the church, she always felt uncomfortable and had this strange, inexplicable desire to be like her cousins. She knew that her mother had Jewish relatives. Not that her mother was Jewish, but that her mother had Jewish relatives. And she saw the pictures of the Jewish relatives. They all had dark, kinky hair from Egypt. She prayed that her hair, she's blonde, she prayed that her hair should become black and kinky because she wants to be a Jew. That's all she knew. So for me, that's as a child. She got a little bit older, she was tortured. Where do I belong? What should I do? This Yashke business doesn't fit. It's a kriegt man nicht den Kopf. And she tried and said, it's a geht nicht. One time, she went into the garden, she lit the 100 candles you're supposed to light, and she laid down, pishet yadayim v'raglayim, in front of the altar, and she prayed and cried on the stones for 6 hours, begging the Eibishter, show me the emes, tell me what to do. Now I'm going to teach her how to daven. I'm the karev and she's the rachik. I'm mekarev her. There's no comparison. She is much closer to the Eibishter than I will ever be. So what can I do for her? I can fill in the details. By us, we don't daven. we do it a little differently. It's a gewaldige meise that she tells at the end. She ran away. She couldn't leave. Her father would never let. They were very protected. They knew where she was every minute of the day. And all her life, she was 22 years old, she had never gone out of a certain area from the church to the place where she worked and back. And she never deviated. So to leave was... So she went to work one day and just didn't come back. So all she had was the clothes she was wearing. And she got on a plane and she came to Minnesota. When she arrived, she was in shock. She had been very sheltered. This was to her like... And besides, she started having that. What did I do? I gave up my life. I have no life. Anyway, she spent some time in Minnesota, and then she went to Tzvas. She comes to Tzvas, and she walks into the first class, Machon Alta. She doesn't know what happened to her. She doesn't know where she is. She doesn't know what her future is going to be. She didn't tell her mother where she is, just told her she's okay. She comes into this class, and she's full of doubts. Maybe I should go back. This is crazy. I don't know what I'm doing. And the guy is teaching. He says, you're not allowed to eat with a goy, because eating leads to intermarriage. she had a fit. Not allowed to eat with a goy. Her whole life is with goyim. Her family is goyim. Not allowed to eat. Because if you eat with them, you marry them? This is crazy. And she got very upset and she stormed out of the room. She finally calmed down a little bit and she went to speak to the Manayil. The Manayil said, you know, your mother has a brother. Go to him for Shabbos and calm down. The brother was like a traditional Egyptian, not frum, but Shabbos. So she goes to the uncle and she calms down. And they're sitting and talking. And she says, tell me, how did mom end up marrying a priest? The family was such a traditional family. How did mom end up marrying a priest? He says, well, you know how it was. It was during the war years, and there were many soldiers from America didn't have where to eat. Yes. So we had pity on them, and we invited them in. And one of them was the chaplain. He was a very nice guy. So she says, "Oh my God, it's true." So she calmed down, she went back, and she became Eishes Chayil.